Hello and welcome back to Alt.tistic, the most retarded political social show on the internet. My name is Garrett, your host. My co-host Davey is out sick, and we did not have a person come in for a second chair because it was kind of a last-minute sick call-in. So it's just going to be me today and my producer Zach. How's it going, Zach?
Pretty good.
Nice. Today is our first episode during the month of September, which is Mexican. It's not Mexican. I've been saying Mexican all day. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, and to celebrate, if I can get it, your boy bought himself some Taco Bell because nothing says Hispanic culture like a burrito I bought 2 to 3 hours ago and I had sitting on this desk, waiting for the show to start. So I will be eating this a little bit as we get into the show.
That's what the New Yorkers thought. Whenever the migrants showed up on the bus, they all gave them burritos as a welcoming gift.
Oh my gosh. Nothing. The funniest thing is just culturally ignorant lefties. It's the funniest thing. Freaking Jill Biden doing the si se puadre. uh, but we'll be getting into some of that in our, I guess, culture section of the show. But first, we'll start with a little small story and use that to springboard into one of the biggest things of the past couple of days that literally everyone's talking about. So first, we'll talk about and develop a little bit on what we talked about last week with Zuckerberg going on Rogan's show and talking about how the FBI asked them to get rid of things that they did not like about the election. We had a development where the Missouri and Louisiana, a couple AGs out of those states, they asked the courts to compel the DOJ to produce communications between top officials and social media companies. So we're having more official steps. It's not just hearsay based on a robot's little wires disconnecting. We actually have official court government officials going in and investigating these accusations, I suppose. But on top of that, also this week, Truth Social got banned from Google Play Store. I mean, if you want to pull up image 3, it's not really like that relevant. It's just a screenshot of an article. But yeah, so this is specifically off of Google Play Store. Google Play is the Android, right? It's what Android phone users use, right?
Well, it has the Android OS, but
Mukbang. I needed to find an opportune time to take a bite. I'm feeling awkward holding this. But go ahead.
no, it uses Android OS, but it's different than Samsung.
Okay. But
It's Google's phone.
Okay. So it got banned off of there. I have no doubt that the Apple Store. Also, I'm looking at the headline pictures. It's a screenshot of the Apple Store. I'm not saying, and
It's because they couldn't get one off the Google Play Store.
Well, fair. But I'm just saying. Is this, what is it called? Predictive programming or something? Basically, like, hey, and Apple's coming after it next.
I think they've already pretty much said that.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're expected to, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I have the app. I don't have a Truth Social account because it was a nightmare trying to get accounts for the platform. And I hear it's not like the greatest. It still kind of adheres to general suppression rules. I think the one where you have unrestricted free speech is Gab, which is great. I get on there occasionally. I'm not a social media guy. I don't really post anything, but if I'm gonna go and scroll through social media, it's usually either Instagram or Gab. And Gab's cool. Gab's great. But yeah, I mean that's kind of all the updates we have on that story. But I mean, it's kind of clear social media hates you and is lying to your face.
But and this is pretty much the end of normal social media as we know it, because they told him well, you're banned from Twitter. You can just go make your own platform.
And then we do, and then
And
it's
then
like,
they
oh, well,
banned
you can't
Parler.
do that.
They banned Parler. They banned
Yeah,
Truth
Parler.
Social.
Parler was the start of that. Now it's basically a dead platform. At this point, no one talks about it anymore. There's so much hype when it was created. Got shut down by the Apple stores, and then got shut down by Amazon because they stupidly used Amazon servers. Um, but I mean, Truth Social could be the next step. I think Gab has a great potential to blow up. Look, the only issue is that Gab has definitely been branded as this like alt right thing because Andrew Tormba is a very big Christian nationalist, and say what you will about him. I don't personally have any problem with him. I like the guy a lot. I get on there and he's always posting very encouraging Bible verses, motivational quotes, reposting people's pictures of nature. He's a very positive guy from what I can tell. But because it's been branded as this Christian nationalist thing, I do feel like that's going to be used in general mindset, the general population's mindset to not really want to get on there. But I think it has a good chance at blowing up because, I mean, right now they are developing a marketplace. They have Gab Video. They're basically making it an all-round social media platform that anyone can use. So I think Torba's making great strides in making that a viable competitor. Um, but yeah, I mean that's really all I have on that. We'll move on to the thing that everybody's talking about, which is of course Biden's. I think 2 speeches. He had like a rally before he had his big empire speech. So we can play a couple clips from the rally, which will be this will be video 10 through 13, so we'll start with video 10.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. How are you, baby? How old are you? How old are you? Almost double figures.
Man, almost too old for me. That is. Oh, I hate the cadence in which he says that, man. How are you, baby? How old are you? Like, dude, don't be. I know people like branding him as this adorable uncle, grandfather figure, but that is just. Every time I hear him say that, my skin crawls. I feel like if you're a decent human being, your skin crawls at least a little bit when you hear him talk to a child like that.
And that's not the first time he's done that, too.
Yeah, I don't know if we played the clip, but there's that clip where he was signing a veterans bill. I forget the specific bill. And he sees this kid, like he's he doesn't seem all there, and then he kind of turns and sees this little girl right next to him, and he goes, and like I swear I saw no pupils. His eyes just glaze over, and he just leans in and talks to her. And it's like, dude, that's creepy. Like he went immediately from Alzheimer's man to he's a predator on the hunt now.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that doesn't make your skin crawl, folks, I don't know what will. Let's go to video 11 where Biden turns tail on his opinions on the police.
When it comes to public safety in this nation, the answer is not defund the police. It's fund the police. Fund the police.
Woo, yeah. Everyone in the crowd was all defund the police during the Summer of Love. Biden was like that. But now that he's in charge, we need to fund the police. So they can come after you in your homes and freaking tackle you and shoot you because you voted for Trump. That's not something he said, but that's definitely something he's thinking, especially with his speech that happened the night after. But we're going to go with a couple more clips from that rally. We have video 12.
Imagine, Joe, if you turned on the television in Washington, D.C., and saw a mob of 1,000 people storming down the hallways of the parliament, breaking down the doors, trying to overturn an outcome of election, and killing several police officers in the meantime. Imagine. Imagine what you'd think.
I'm still imagining, because that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Imagine, Joe, this thing happening. Cool, Joe. What exactly are you referring to there? Because if you're referring to January 6th, a bunch of old ladies shuffling around the Capitol, um, who killed police officers? No one.
No, no.
Officer.
Officer Sicknick,
Yeah.
he died, but it wasn't because of anything that happened at the Capitol.
It was like 3 days later, and I think it was officially a heart attack. But when they announced that Sicknick died, it was, oh my gosh, he got beaten on the head with a fire extinguisher. That's not what happened. Where are you guys getting this? But obviously, that's a narrative that old Joe's trying to promote, and that's something he's going to continue to promote. That's something that he kind of took to the next level, once again, in the speech afterwards. But we're going to finish it off with video 13.
And for those brave right-wing Americans who say it's all about keeping America's independent and safe, if you want to fight against the country, you need an F-15. You need something a little more than a gun. No, I'm not joking. Think about this. Think about the rationale we use. That's used.
No, I'm not joking. I think Doc Washburn did an episode of his show either on this rally or the rally the day after, and he counted every time Joe said, "No, I'm not joking." Bro, methinks the lady protests too much. Like, come on, dude. You can't just constantly make claims and then go, "I'm not joking. I'm not joking." What? No, I didn't see you walking across the road when I hit you. I'm not joking. It's not a joke. Oh, man. But also, I do agree. We would need F-15s in order to defend ourselves against an encroaching government. That's why we should have them. The
To be
more...
fair, we wouldn't need them per se. I mean, I don't know if you've seen that picture that came from 4chan that people have been posting on Twitter, but it's basically this guy that posts this whole paragraph. It's like, it starts out with, "You're an idiot," and then he goes through all of the reasons why the government's not going to use F-15s and tanks against American people.
Okay, yeah.
Because, I mean, they want to control people, not kill people. Like in the Middle East, when it's terrorists they're fighting, they want to just wipe out entire communities. But if you're trying to rule over a country and you kill everybody, then who are you going to rule over?
Yeah,
You need like police officers on street corners to enforce laws.
that's fair. Yeah.
And I mean,
Maybe...
AR-15s and handguns can fight police officers on street corners.
Mm-hmm. Although, on the other hand, I would say, to be fair, the argument or the rationale behind some of the jab stuff, it was population control. So, you could make that argument as to why they would use tanks. But, yeah, no, that makes sense. But also, you gotta factor in that these are evil, demonic people who can be a little unpredictable with their acts of heinousness.
I mean, I'd say they're demonic, but also the jab made people more complicit and supportive of the government.
Mm-hmm.
And like, those people aren't taking the vaccine, so they're bad. But if you see people getting blasted by M1 tanks, it kind of makes you sympathetic, which probably wouldn't be good if you're trying to control a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's all about optics.
Yep. All right. So the big speech of the week was from Biden on Friday, I believe, in Philadelphia. I didn't find an actual video that had some of his big clips. The best I could find on short notice, because also I'm trying not to smack as much while I'm talking. The other thing too is, to me, the speech isn't that interesting because he just reiterated everything we knew that he thought. But it's just kind of, oh, he's saying what everyone's thinking already. But the best I had is a clip from the Babylon Bee, or Not the Bee, where they edited together Biden's little speech with some famous speeches in media, video 15.
Now, America must choose to move forward or to move backwards.
Remaining systems will bow to the first order.
To build a future
That's the type of
obsessed
person
about
who
the
will
past.
rule over us.
Blood alone moves the wheels of history.
To be a nation of hope and unity and optimism. foundation of fear, division, and of
Raw, untamed power.
MAGA Republicans have made their choice. They embrace anger.
Not! I think not!
They thrive on chaos. They live not in the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies. But together,
The Republic will be reorganized.
That needs to be rewritten as the democracy.
Empire!
together we can choose a different path.
From this day forth, you put your faith in me.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. They promote authoritarian leaders and they fan the flames
Dark
of
Brandon
political
on the
violence.
friggin'
But you
AR
need an
throne.
F-15. You need something a little more than a gun.
And that came from not the B. If you're just audio only, it's basically just Biden speaking and then intercutting with Voldemort, the bald guy from Last Jedi. I'm a freaking Star Wars nerd and I can't freaking remember his name. That's how forgettable the sequel trilogy is. Holy crap. It's not gonna come to me. The bald decrepit guy from Last Jedi, and then you had Hux from Force Awakens, also the sequel trilogy, who is the most annoying freaking person in any of those Star Wars movies. One of them at least. But also looking at that, I go, that I can see that happening in real life, where we are all ruled by freaking Bill Gates, a young Bill Gates looking guy who's just pent up anger. But yeah, it's very interesting because that entire speech was basically just confession through projection. The Republicans, they thrive on anger, or they thrive on chaos. They're motivated by anger. I'm sitting here going, dude, I'm just finished up my 5-layer burrito. I'm being fueled by a burrito, man. I'm being fueled by little to no sleep and a desire to laugh. I'm smiling over here. You over on the other hand are freaking quivering in your old man skin.
No, but that speech was the only real substance I got from it is them basically confirming that they're going to secure the midterms.
They're gonna fortify. Yeah.
Yep. They're going to free the midterms,
Yeah, exactly.
which was only, I don't know, whatever you call it, exemplified by the Washington Post's analysis, I guess, where they talked afterwards, and one of the commentators was basically like, yeah, and maybe during the midterms, we won't know exactly who won the night of. And it's the exact same thing they were saying for months on end, on leading up to the 2020 election.
So he just straight up said, yeah, we figured out how to make sure elections are fortified. Mama Susan's watching. Yeah, so Trump had a response to this. I believe it's video 19. I kind of mixed up the order on my sheet or my phone in which I have everything recorded. So I think it's video 19. That should be it.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to give
Look at that massive crowd, too.
hateful and divisive speech ever delivered by an American president, vilifying 75 million citizens plus another probably 75 to 150, if we want to be accurate about it, as threats to democracy and as enemies of the state. You're all enemies of the state. Who's the enemy of the state? You want to know the truth? The enemy of the state is him and the group that control him, which is
Absolutely.
circling around and do this, do that, Joe. You're going to do this, Joe, right? I think Philadelphia was a great choice to make this speech of hatred and anger. His speech was hatred and anger. By the way, the next morning he forgot what he said.
He did.
I didn't think I said that, did I? How'd you like?
Yeah, that's all the clip that I had. But I mean, he did. I think it's clip 18 where Biden was asked the next morning, about the statements he made. We don't have to play it because it's basically just him going, "What? No, I wasn't saying that." And they're like, we have the clip, Joe. You just said that all Republican voters are enemies of the state. But notice the difference between this. When I've watched through both of these clips a couple times, notice the difference between what Biden said and what Trump said. Both are talking about hatred and anger, sure. But what Biden said is Trump and his MAGA voters, his MAGA supporters, you the people. What Trump was saying is Biden and those that control him are the enemies of the state. Trump is explicitly calling out the people in charge. Biden is specifically pointing at your neighbor or your friend, your family member, and saying they're enemies of the state. He's vilifying the populace, whereas Trump is calling out the leadership. A true leader needs to call leadership on poor leadership. You don't go and blame people who are just citizens and civilians, because the fact of the matter is, yes, we have people who live in society who are political opposition, some of which do tend to be enemies of the state to certain extents as operatives, unwitting operatives. But the issue is they're not the core issue. I have friends who believe completely different things from me. I don't view them as enemies of the state. I don't view them as my enemies. I just view them as people who happen to be wrong. Yes, some of them can be galvanized in particularly violent ways, but it's because they were galvanized. It's not because they're setting out to destroy our country because they believe what they're doing for the country's right, no matter how wrong and how completely off the mark they are. The people who are actively trying to destroy America are enemies of the state, and those people are those who are in power, those who are in charge, those making the decisions. So that's something that you as a voter and you as a citizen need to understand before you go out of your way to try to attack your MAGA neighbor. But that's something you need to look at in rhetoric from leadership. If a leader is saying, "Look, my opponent and all of his supporters, they're enemies of the state, they're evil," that's probably someone who is actually an enemy of the state. Someone who's trying to distance himself as much as possible from the fact that he's an enemy of the state, trying to kind of gaslight you on that.
The funniest thing was watching, because I didn't watch the speech itself. I watched Nick Fuentes' him watching the speech, and Biden goes up there and he's like, "MAGA Republicans are the enemies of the state. They're threats to democracy." And he's like, "Let's go,
Let's go.
let's go."
Yeah, we are enemies of democracy because democracy's cringe, bro. Oh man,
I'm a threat to democracy.
Yeah, we are a threat to democracy. No, I forgot who it was. I think it was maybe on the Steve Day show. They did a cut together of every time Biden said democracy. It might have been him. It might have been another. It might have been another show. But it was cut together, and it was just democracy, 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 democracy. Thank you, democracy. Good night, everybody. Like, just straight up, that's all he was drilling in your head. And people are so deluded at this fact now, believing that America is a democracy. It never was, never has been. I know that we talked about that a little bit before, and that's, it's a boomer conversation to have. But it's something that I think is fundamental to understand, is that he's trying to push the idea of democracy because it's mob rule. He's trying to stir up a mob. So if we can stir up a mob and then galvanize that mob against people who are threats to democracy, I mean, that it's just a simple rhetorical. It's not rhetorical. That's not the word.
What?
I'm trying to say rhetoric. He's using rhetoric, but it's this game with rhetoric. Let's say it that way.
Rhetorical device.
Yeah, it's this rhetoric motivated game that he's playing. Yes, he's mentally gone. Most of these things he's saying is being fed in through an earpiece, or if you want to believe the theory that it's not even Biden. There's some people who theorize that. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. Who knows? I'm open to anything nowadays. Like I told my dad a couple weeks ago, I'm like 2 steps off of being a Bigfoot believer. So, I like it at this point in my life when I was younger. I was Bigfoot doesn't exist. What are you, retarded? And now I'm just like, you know what? I could see it. But the point is is that you pay attention to the rhetoric and what is being said, and clearly what he's getting across is MAGA Republicans are the enemies of the state. They're threats to our democracy. What's democracy? Mob rule. Hey, you're our defenders of democracy. You're defenders of the mob. Go attack the enemies of the mob. It's just kind of clearly, you just connect the dots as to what he's saying, and it's just right there in front of you.
Yeah, and you also pay attention. He says "our democracy" a lot, and the
Where's the communism music when you need it?
and they've used that term a lot, like when going to the Middle East and when going to Vietnam and Korea. Defending our democracy by defeating the communists. But we know that's not really what it was for.
It really was.
It's not to defend democracy for this very valiant thing.
Most wars we've gotten involved in have not been for valiant reasons. American Revolution, War of 1812, and I think that's probably
Civil War.
Civil War. Yeah, those were all, because that was all things that directly impacted us. Every other war we've gotten involved in have been overseas, which is why, like, I tend to take a more isolationist approach to geopolitics. That's why, like, a lot of stuff's happening with Germany this week. We're not going to talk about it because I don't care about Germany because it's not America. Because
Although it is kind of funny when they laughed at Trump saying that y'all shouldn't rely on Russia, and they're like, Psh, okay. And then now Russia's cutting off their natural gas lines.
and their entire economy is imploding. It is funny, but it's also, I don't view it as relevant news all that much because it's
No, it doesn't.
German people need to worry about Germany, American people need to worry about America. That's why the whole Ukraine thing, my entire take is just, who cares? Like, yes, people are dying. I get that. And I prayed for them every single day. But at the end of the day, that's a Ukrainian problem. Ukraine needs to stand up for whatever's happening there. And once again, we're fed the lies as to what's happening. So for all I know, Ukraine's perfectly fine. But that conflict is between Russia and Ukraine that needs to be sorted out by Russia and Ukraine. Why the hell is U.S. continuing to send billions at this point, dollars over there, and we're seeing no return on it? We're just getting bigger gas or tax hikes, and we're seeing none of that.
Yeah, it's like all the European countries are like, oh no, you have to defend Ukraine. Why don't you defend Ukraine?
Yeah.
You're like right there.
Yeah, I forget who it was. I need to remember people. But someone was talking about how every time we've gotten involved in foreign affairs, it's ended up disastrous. You look at Afghanistan. The minute we pulled out, Taliban came in, Al-Qaeda's suddenly back and thriving. I think, where was it, Iraq or Iran, where Saddam Hussein was. The minute we pulled out, things started getting worse. It's like we involve ourselves in these and we're saying, oh, we're going to defend democracy, we're going to fight for freedom, and then we just leave and the country reverts back to the way it was. Because at the end of the day, if you truly want a free country, the country has to fight for itself. That's why the American Revolution worked, because the people had the gusto, and then we didn't have the military might, so we asked the French to help, and they did, and we won. It wasn't the French going, oh shoot, a couple of guys aren't doing too well, we're going to come over here and help. Because that doesn't work. You need the spirit of the country to thrive. If the spirit's not there, it doesn't matter how much money you send over. It doesn't matter how much military you send over. It's not going to work in the end.
Yeah, we also don't know what that country's like, and like
Exactly.
what government they want to live under. Because Vietnam, overwhelmingly, I'm pretty sure wanted to be communist.
Yeah.
We killed Gaddafi in northern Africa, in whatever country that was, and he was a really good leader. I mean, he was a dictator, but he was bringing fresh water to all that area.
Yeah.
The economy was doing great,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, and we killed him because he was a dictator.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and we
true.
ruined the country.
Yeah, I think different cultures need different systems of governance. Now, I would prefer if the entire world was a Christian world, and at that point we wouldn't really have need for a government system, but that's utopianism, and utopianism isn't a thing until Jesus comes back. And at that point, the world will be a utopia, and there won't be any need for governments. But yeah, that was kind of a serious discussion. we're here to have fun. Hopefully you got something out of that or opened up to something new. One of these days, I know I mentioned the Bigfoot thing. One of these days, I want to get into conspiracy theories, and because I've gone down a deep rabbit hole with a lot of those, whether I believe them or not. I'm fascinated by them now, especially cryptids. I loved cryptids as a kid, and my takes on them have changed a little bit. But one of these days, I kind of want to sit down and have a conversation about that. Maybe a on a day that's not a Monday. I've been talking to Zach about maybe doing Friday fun nights or doing miscellaneous content here and there where we kind of have a bit more fun and get to let loose and not talk specifically about politics. Um, but because we're here to goof and gaff, this speech brought out a lot of memes. So we're gonna just look over them. We only have one video that's a meme, and then the rest are pictures. So we're gonna play the video first, which is video 14. That's so well edited too. Oh, it's him putting the mask on, isn't it?
Yeah.
What matters is our plan. Return to your homes. Hold your families close. And wait. The fire rises.
The fire rises. Oh my gosh, that is such a brilliant edit. Nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask. Oh my gosh, that is such a good edit. We had the credit in the bottom right hand corner there. I forgot what it was, like carpet OKM or something.
Carpe Donktum.
Carpe Donktum. Shout out to him for that brilliant edit. I wish I could do After Effects as well as some of these guys. I'm a film student. Anytime I open up After Effects, I can't do jack all with it. So it impresses me because I know how much hard work goes into After Effects, and that was brilliant. Oh man, that was so funny, but it also definitely mirrors what Biden was talking about that night. If we go to video 14, this was kind of the main comparison going on.
That's what we just played.
Oh, image 14, my bad. Image 14. This was kind of the main comparison to Biden's speech. Oh man, that camera down there looks very lonely. We really need a template that doesn't have Davy's camera. But if you see, that's kind of the iconic photo of the night of Biden with his hands up in the air with the red background on the Philadelphia Capitol, right?
Philadelphia Hall. Or
Yeah.
Something like that.
But below that is a still image from a movie called V for Vendetta.
Vendetta.
I couldn't squeeze that. First off, fantastic movie. If you really just want to get some what's the word? Some serotonin in your brain. If you really want to get some like self-fulfillment by watching a movie, just feel happy watching a movie. Watch V for Vendetta, which is basically just about this dude in a Guy Fawkes mask completely destroying all of England to kill every single corrupt politician out there. Just a very I can't think of the specific word I want to say now, but it's a movie that I watched earlier this year for the first time, and it's like, dude, I love this. But yeah, that's the main antagonist from V for Vendetta, the government system. Very similar imagery. I forget what he was saying in the scene. I wish we had the scene pulled up, but kind of ranting about how Guy Fawkes is this evil dude, and he's trying to destroy the government. He's a threat to our democracy. Kind of similar stuff. That's kind of what V for Vendetta is about. I know Hugo Weaving, the star, or maybe the director. Some people have come out and be like, this movie's actually about is anti-Trumpism, and it's like you watch it and you go, no, clearly this is about what's happening now. Or the logical conclusion to what's happening now. If we go to the next image, image 15, this says the Aztec priest when the Spaniards sick their war dogs on him after ripping a girl's heart out, and it's Biden in the priest outfit from Indiana Jones Temple of Doom holding out a heart. Oh my gosh, gosh, that's so well edited. And then we got image 16, which is just a simple. We go by maps now. That's probably what Biden was saying in the image. It's that classic image of him hand raised, and behind him it says, "We go by maps now." You gotta respect us, man. Come on, man. Not a joke. We go by maps now.
That's what he was saying when he was rehearsing the speech. Like, do not say that. Don't say that.
Don't say that. Don't say that. He comes out and the first thing he says, "You know, Jack, this isn't not a joke. I'm not joking around. Not facetious. But we go by maps now." That's what I got to tell Jill every night. I go by a map. You can't keep calling me a pedo.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. I'm not kidding. And finally, image 17. Not a meme, but just like an interesting observation that apparently CNN during the live broadcast color corrected the background so it looked more pink, so it looked less threatening. I guess someone was watching it going, "Oh shoot." Like someone was.
That looks like Hitler.
Yeah, that looks like Hitler. That's some Hitlerian imagery right there. Quick, we got to get the color correction guys in and fix this. Oh no. But yeah, that's kind of all I had on Biden's speech. I mean, we knew that's what he thought, but just having that out in the open, and then you know you're gonna see people defending it and going, "Oh man, this was such a great speech." No, this is what the leadership of our country is gonna continue down the path of, unless we do something. I know, like the whole thing, like, "Oh, go vote." I mean,
Go vote.
Go vote. Yeah. What I would say is fortify your homes, fortify your hometowns. Like, make sure at the local level you're protected, because when Joe Biden sends his F-15s or whatever for you, at least you're gonna have a.
You need to make sure you have an anti-aircraft system on your house.
Yeah. but in terms of, make sure your local community is strong. I guess is the main thing. Yeah,
And
sure.
local government as well.
Local government, yes, because local government's where they can sneak people in really easily because you don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, that's what happened to Davy.
Yeah, that's
They
what
just-
happened to Davy. Yeah. But yeah, so make sure your local government's strong, because it's easy to ignore that. It's something that I personally just started paying attention to this election cycle. Unfortunately, Doc Washburn lost his primary, so we're not going to get good leadership this year, the next term. But we will continue to try to hunker down here and make sure things are strong. We right now live, I think what Davey has said is that we live in, per capita, the most conservative county of the state in the country, I believe. I don't know if that's 100% true. But I mean, we're in good hands here. The abortion activist incident from last week, that has been the only thing in my lifetime living here that has skewed that way. All the leftists kind of go about their own business, even if they're extreme minded. They'll just take their crap to Little Rock because they know no one's going to have any of it here. So we're doing good here in Saline County. What we need to do is make sure the state's good. And that's going to take a little push. Although, good news is, this past week, the last abortion clinic closed. So, as of this past week, Arkansas is abortion free. I want to play the crab dance now, but I can't.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on.
we finally get to use the soundboard. I've been adding sound effects to the soundboard, and we never use it. I put all this effort in, and then we just completely forget about it.
It was really dead for a second. Like,
Yeah.
there's no more abortion clinics.
Where's the applause? But yeah, so Arkansas is officially abortion free, which is why the abortion activists were out and about like, abort the court, whatever. You guys aren't getting any anyways, so who cares? But I'm very proud to live in a state that is abortion free. I pray for the end of abortion every day, which is something Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of spurred me to do. Not personally, like she posts pray to end abortion today, and I'm like, you know what? I need to start doing that. So proud of that. At least we have one thing going for us. I wish we had a good governor, but unfortunately we don't. You know, I'm sorry, Asa, but you suck. My dad's met him before and he's interviewed him. So he like personally kind of knows him, but I haven't talked to him recently about it. But now that's why I've always been lenient on him. But during the Koof stuff, now I'm just like, dang it, Asa, I was rooting for you, but you suck, dude.
Yep. And Sarah too, probably.
She definitely will. This was going to be a random aside. I know we were going to move on to something else, but pull up image 6 because I just found this to be funny. Oh, maybe not image. Well, I found this to be funny too. I meant to. We'll find that image for me. On
That's
the preview.
number 5.
That's number 5. Shoot, I mixed that up. Well, we can go back to image 6 here in a second. But this is hilarious to me. So this was posted on subreddit r/LGBT. First off, I didn't go on Reddit to get this. This was something I came across. I think Reddit's cringe. I used to have it for a while to laugh at memes and stuff. But every time I got to a comment section in a Reddit thread, no matter what it was, it would always turn to, oh my gosh, I hate Republicans, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, dude, I just want to look at memes. I want to, like, I have tech help. I need tech help, please. That's what Reddit should be used for. And when it's used for that, it's incredibly good. I was going to say useful. That's what I was going to say. But anyway, this was a Reddit post. For those listening, this is r/LGBT. The post says, AI art made this out of the words gay rights, and then the tag gay art, gay art, gay art. The image is of a red man with 4 horns, 2 coming out. Two horns coming out of his forehead, and then very pointy ears. And I know, theologically speaking and biblically speaking, this isn't what Lucifer actually looks like. I think he's described as one of the most beautiful beings in existence, which makes sense for temptation and all that. But it is kind of funny to see a red demon-looking man who looks like he's wearing a 3-piece suit with the gay colors behind him. And the AI read gay rights and said, yep, we going demonic today.
Although I do like the way the gay flag kind of turns into a suit.
Yes.
Like the red is his head, and then it's yellow green, and then it goes blue purple on the suit.
Yeah. I mean, it's like aesthetically a like well-made photo, especially for an AI. AI is crazy, which it's kind of spooky.
Do Dolly right now and see what it says for gay rights.
Yeah, try if you can work on the Dolly stuff. But like that, if that does not speak to you, I don't know like what you're talking about, man. That's hilarious to me. The other picture Zach pulled up, we'll talk about that for a second.
Photo 6, I think.
I think it was photo 6. So what you're looking at is a tweet from Andy No, who's a great reporter. His claim to fame is getting a brick concrete shake to the face. But yeah, he tweeted this out. This was reported from the TwinCities.com, from my mom's hometown, where her family currently still resides, which is funny. I guess not that detail isn't funny. I don't know. But what you see pictured here is a man in a prison jumpsuit. Who is this man? I'll tell you who he is. He is one of the people who testified against Derek Chauvin and was hailed as a BLM hero. He was one of the guys who was there, either presumably filming the incident, or he was there yelling at Derek Chauvin as the inciting incident to the Summer of Love thing happened. And he was hailed as a BLM hero for going against Derek Chauvin in court and putting him away for life. Yeah, this guy, he's been arrested and charged over allegedly strangling a woman, threatening to kill responding police and resisting arrest. And his response to this and his plea is, he's innocent and he has PTSD over Floyd's death. Man, I hate it. I hate it when someone dies and 2 years later, I suddenly have a flashback to that, freak out, and start strangling a woman trying to murder her. Don't you hate it when that happens, Zach? It happens to me all the time. I'll just be sitting down. I'm sure it'll happen this December because that'll be the 2-year anniversary of my mom's death. I'll be sitting in my house, and suddenly I'll go, "Oh no, my mom died. I gotta go out and attack someone.
Gotta go commit murder.
I gotta go commit murder and then try to kill the police who get called in reasonably because I am committing an act of violence." Oh my gosh, what a loser. But also, I feel like this totally highlights the type of people BLM associate with and hail as heroes, because they also hailed Mr. Floyd as a hero and built statues in his honor when he wasn't that good of a person. Assault charges, trying to kill people,
Holding a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach.
holding a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach. I'm not saying he deserved to die. I'm just saying, don't make him a martyr. Don't be going around trying to, praise him as a messianic figure. There's much better people. Like, stick with Emmett Till. Emmett Till was an innocent kid who just made the mistake of talking to a white woman. Stick with him. He's an innocent child. He perfectly should be held in martyrdom and should be, not as a messianic figure, but someone as like, oh, this is someone we should respect in death and respect in life. George Floyd was not that. There's so many other people who get killed in confrontations with police, whether rightfully or not, who are much better people than George Floyd. But that's the person that we want all of our little black kids to grow up to be like. And if you're raising your kids right now to be like George Floyd, man, you are failing as parents. Raise them to be like someone who's a good influence. I can't think of... I was going to say Emmett Till, but Emmett Till was like a child when he died, so he didn't really get to grow up.
And raise him to be a child.
Yeah, raise him to be a child. I can't think of any raise him to be like Denzel Washington. Make him be an actor. Send him to Hollywood. That won't mess him up at all.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea. I guess while we're kind of in the in-betweens, let's pull up image 12 just because I think it's funny. I just want to show this to you guys. I want to show you this. Kamala Harris put out a new autobiography called Blowing.
To be fair, I'm not sure if that was Kamala. I think it may have been edited.
It might have been edited. I think
the book is real, but I don't think it's Kamala that did it.
Yeah. Well, there's a hairdryer. Hold up. Now I gotta look this up. Hold on. I'll fact check this live. But regardless,
'Cause I've seen that picture before.
yeah.
I feel like I would have recognized it.
Yeah, it is edited slightly, but I hate to be doing this. I don't like wasting people's time. It's still funny, man. Like Blowing My Way to the Top by Kamala Harris. Okay, yeah, it's a hairstylist. They just edited it. So that's the original. I don't know if that's
Jen Atkin.
Yeah, Jen Atkin, hairstylist. But still, you gotta admit that's funny. This is what happens when I don't fact check. I just see an image, think it's hilarious. I'm just gonna throw it up in there. That's hilarious. Come on, you gotta admit that. But yeah, we'll move on to our culture section where we also get to have a little bit of fun. And for our culture section, we're mainly going to be talking about Hispanic Heritage Month. Cue the music. We're going to celebrate. Yeah, the audio watermark. Yeah, I didn't pay to use that. I just downloaded a preview. I don't care. We're poor here. What can I say? It's Hispanic Heritage Month. And like I said, I was celebrating with some Taco Bell. So, two white guys talking about Hispanic heritage. First off, I love it when specifically pop culture companies decide to celebrate minority-driven things, whether it's Slug Butt Month, Sandwich People Month in June, or whether it's Black History Month in February, and they just completely come off looking like retards. There was recently in the comics, Miles Morales being Thor. He did the whole gauntlet, being every single superhero in the MCU, and they did stories. But the Thor one was the funniest because it was it was it was a black dude as Thor in the hood, and it was, I think one of the quotes was like, "By Odin's fate," and then he would throw the hammer and be like, "Stop, hammer time." I love that kind of stuff. So recently, DC decided to take their crack at celebrating their Hispanic superheroes. We're going to start off with one that's a bit more mild. Image 23, I believe. It might be out of order, but I think it should be Image 23.
Green Woman.
Green Woman. No, so this is Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern, one of the more newer iterations of the character, a diversity type character that they introduced her and what's his name, Simon Baz, I believe, were kind of introduced at around the same time as New Green Lanterns. I'm fine with it just because Green Lantern's kind of a police corps, so it just makes no sense to me that they would have so many people from Earth in their police corps when they're supposed to be patrolling quadrants of the universe. But what you gonna do? Yeah, this one's not all that bad. If you look very closely, she has taken out Sinestro and a couple of people that I
If you
don't
look very
recognize.
closely, that dude is double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon.
Yes, but as you can also tell, she used the might of Green Lantern's light to hold, I think, a burrito or a quesadilla as she's conjuring up a hammer. You gotta love that. We celebrate our Hispanic culture by making our Hispanic characters eat burritos and quesadillas. The next one that's probably not that bad. Image 19. This is Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle, who is the newest iteration of Blue Beetle, race swapped, of course, from the original Ted Cord white guy Blue Beetle. Jaime Reyes is one that's kind of been more broadly accepted as a race swap because they pushed him quite a bit, but not as obnoxiously as some other characters. But it shows him, young kid, jumping off a building, and my man's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tacos, I believe they are. They're not quesadillas because they're not cooked. So my man's carrying a bunch of tacos while he hopping off buildings, and there's a random dove there because I guess John Woo directed this. Next we got Image 20. This is fan favorite character Bane, chilling in a Mexican restaurant eating some flan after beating up some guys. He's getting the check for $100,000. It's a goofy image, but also like, why the man got to be eating some flan?
Hey, you get tired after killing a bunch of people.
Man,
Sit down and eat some flan.
Yeah. Híjole, I just killed a bunch of people in your restaurant. Give me some flan. Oh man. These are the ones that start to get a little more egregious. Let's do 22, Image 22. This is Renee Montoya, who was an original character, but then they decided to make her take the identity of the Question, who is an original white character, but now they race and gender swapped him, so Renee Montoya could be the character, and also now she's gay in the comics.
Nice.
Because got to check all them boxes. But this is her chilling. I believe, I don't know what flag that is. Is that the Cuban flag?
I don't know.
Maybe Puerto Rican. But her surrounded by a buttload of fruits. You got your lemons, your watermelons, your papayas, all these fun tropical looking fruits. And her, of course, the flag in the background. Then we got Image 21. This is Hot Girl. And she is, I guess, working as a waitress at Platinos or Platanitos Fritos, a cafeteria. She's wearing a quirky little apron. She is palming what looks like a cooked banana, some rice, some Is that that's not fortune cookies. That's definitely not fortune cookies. But a bunch of Mexican cuisine. I don't know why they put her in a freaking restaurant. Honestly, the more I look at this, I think this is the most egregious one. Oh my gosh. And then finally, this was the one that kind of blew up. This was image 18. So, the one on the right, this is Kyle Rayner, another Green Lantern, an older character, one that is actually a fan favorite because he's an artist and he conjures up these weird-looking constructs, whereas someone like Hal Jordan kind of just does a bunch of heavy machinery and that kind of stuff. And then John, whose name I can't, the black guy, I can't remember his name, and he's my favorite. Oh, I feel so bad. Oh, my mind's blanking. John. Whatever. I hate it because he's my favorite character. He's my favorite Green Lantern. But he's a military guy, so he conjures up guns and military weaponry. This dude, he conjures up weird-looking fantastical beasts. And so the one on the left was the original image. And the artist came out. I don't have the tweet for this exactly, so I'm going to kind of paraphrase this. The artist came out and basically said, they commissioned him to draw this artwork, and he wanted to make it based off of a piece of art that was actually drawn by a Mexican artist. So, like, kind of heralding, hey, we're going to kind of recreate this image with a superhero. That's actually kind of cool. You're using some artistic inspiration. But then when they published it, they changed it, made him keep the position, but instead of holding the Green Lantern conjuring up what he's known to conjure up, which is these fantastical beasts, while he just happens to be holding a Mexican flag, they changed it. The flag now just reads, Viva Mexico! And instead of his Green Lantern, my man holding a bag of carry-out tamales in space.
Also, to be fair, I think that's the Irish flag.
Oh, is
'cause
that?
It's orange and green.
Yeah, because the
and
Mexican flag has the little emblem in it.
it has
in
the
middle.
seal, and it's
Yeah.
red and green, right?
So it's the Irish, unless it's backwards.
Well, it would be
Well,
both
yeah, no.
sides.
That's true.
So
So like an Irish flag. I guess the artist didn't get that right. I mean, he seemed like a good dude, but also, dude, know your flag.
well, maybe that's why he changed it to Viva Mexico instead of the
He
Irish
said,
flag.
oh wait, that's not the. Bro, just come down to Arkansas. You'll see trucks drive by with. There's this guy who drives around in a truck in our town who has a giant freaking Mexican flag. I see it at
Like
least once a
the
week.
Mexican flag and the American flag.
Yeah, just like flapping in the wind. I'm like, you know what? That's kind of neat. So DC kind of failed at their attempt at honoring Hispanic folks. Hopefully, as this month goes on, we're gonna get more fails like this because I just find this hilarious. The only other little bit of Hispanic heritage that we can talk about. Do you know what a gordita is, Zach?
Yes.
I apparently didn't know. I called him earlier. I didn't know that Taco Bell actually sold gorditas. This thing is cold as crap. I really...
Just don't eat it.
No, I gotta eat it. I gotta show that I'm down with the Mexican cause. This bad boy right here is a gordita crunch wrap from Taco Bell. I dropped the napkins. This is a gordita crunch wrap from Taco Bell. Here's the thing. According to this guy on TikTok I found in video 16, he is saying that apparently the Latinx community does not like gorditas anymore.
The Latinx community is now rallying to change the name of gorditas. They're saying that name offends overweight people. And they're reportedly planning to change the name to masa con relleno or masa frita. Keep in mind that this food dates back all the way to the 1500s. And this is not the first time that the community demanded a name change. Because back in 2013, they changed the name of Negritos. Negritos.
I didn't even get that from the TikTok. There's a Mexican dish called a negrito.
Hold on. I'm gonna The British, I think, have this beat,
Okay.
and I'm gonna ruin your search history.
Oh no. Okay. The one thing that I'm noticing is that there's a conceited effort in this country to completely destroy the Spanish language. Like, I get it, speak English, whatever. But the more I see about this crap, oh, we gotta change the name of Gordita because it's offensive to fat people. Who cares? There was that whole push for Latinx because we don't want gendered language, Latina, Latino. That's how language is, dude. If you go outside the US, 90% of languages are 100% gendered. That's just how they do things. And if you wanted to do Latinx, you would have to change the Gordita to Gorditex. You'd have to change every single word, every single noun in the Spanish language to X. You would have to change it because every noun in the Spanish language is gendered. So what are you gonna freaking do? Plátano. No, it's Platinex. That doesn't sound right to me. And if you ask most Hispanic people, they will tell you Latinx comes off as a slur. And I didn't think people unironically used it until I went to college. And I had a professor. I like her. She helped me make a short film. Sweet lady. But she unironically talking to another white student. This was a white woman and a white woman who was trying to tell a story about a Latina. And she goes, yeah, and if you want to have a Latinx character, and you, like, I was just eavesdropping. I was doing my work, and I just go, this woman unironically just said Latinx to another white woman. Typical wine mom behavior. Oh my gosh. Did you find it, Zach?
No.
Dang. Well, now my search history's ruined, and we
Well,
didn't even get any gratification out of it.
It wasn't too bad. It's just, I'm pretty sure there was this British candy. It's like chocolate candy, sort of, and it's round, and it's, the name for it is blank head, like the head of a, someone who looks like, and I'm guaranteeing you they changed the name since then.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, if they got...
I learned that from some British person online.
Hey, British are good for one thing. I also want to shout this guy out, too. I have another TikTok saved from him, Video 17. It has nothing to do with Hispanic heritage, but I just found this story to be hilarious. So I'm going to share it with you guys.
Is it 17?
Should be 17.
Authorities
Yeah.
are now searching for two 10-year-old boys after they scammed this woman out of $1,000. She allegedly let them use her phone to make a phone call, but instead they got on Venmo and set themselves $1,000. And this is the official receipt from Venmo. It says that
You
they
paid
set themselves
Black Lives
$1,000
Matter.
And their profile name was Black Lives Matter. And when she alerted authorities, police told her that she was the third person that day to be scammed by two 10-year-old boys. And earlier this year, a 12-year-old boy also pretended like he was using the phone, but instead got on Venmo and sent himself $4,000.
Oh my gosh. I don't know whether or not to commend those children or condemn.
I mean, stealing's wrong.
Stealing's wrong, and also to, oh, Black Lives Matter, we gotta pay reparations to ourselves. But a 10-year-old just going, hey, can I borrow your phone? And just paying themselves.
That is pretty funny.
That's pretty
As
funny.
wrong as it is.
As wrong as it is and how stupid the mindset is behind it, it's still kind of funny. But yeah, that's our little wrap on the culture section. But I think our discussion on Hispanic heritage transitions nicely into woman moments. For our first video is brought to us. It is brought to us by the immortal She-Hulk, the gift that keeps on giving with cringe clips, all that kind of fun stuff. In the comics, Jen Walters was a white woman, cousin of Bruce Banner, gets shot at by the mob because she's working on a court case that threatens a mob boss. And Bruce has to sit there and debate whether or not he can give her his blood to save her life. Either save her life, turn her into a Hulk, or let her die. Very good moral conundrum. In the show, she is a Latina, proud, strong Latina lawyer who still is a woman and cannot drive and goes careening off of a cliff because she can't apply the brakes when a UFO lands in front of them. And Boots gets knocked out in the car crash, and she has to drag him out, and somehow gets blood in her veins and turns into the She-Hulk. So Latina She-Hulk. I had a new episode this past week. I did not watch it. One of these days, I'm thinking about forcing you and Davey to watch it, and we'll film it and upload it to the channel. But emphasis on the butt. Here's the post-credits scene. I don't care about the copyright here.
Yeah, turn it down.
We'll turn it back up because, yeah.
I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion.
It's not funny because they think it is. It's funny because of how ludicrously bad it is. I watched a couple reviews of this episode, and they kept talking about how they name dropped Megan Thee Stallion over and over again. My buddy, I almost name dropped him. I don't know if he wants me to mention him by name, but a guy who's a big MCU guy that we get into clashes because I don't like the MCU anymore. No hatred towards him because of that. They're stupid movies. If you let your relationships, sorry, I'm burping. If you let your relationships be dictated by the kinds of films you do and don't like, regardless of the reasons, you don't have a good friendship. I'm about to be a freaking groomsman at this man's wedding. So, like, we're tight, so I'm not going to call him out on a stupid political show and all that kind of stuff over it. But even he texts me and goes, they name dropped this woman, Megan Thee Stallion, in the double digits in this episode, only to have her show up for this stupid-ass cameo. And apparently one of the plot lines was a dude thinking he was dating Megan Thee Stallion, but being tricked by a shapeshifter. And they made fun of an old dude for not knowing who Megan Thee Stallion is. And then I go look at the reviews and people are going, who the hell is Megan Thee Stallion? The joke doesn't land if no one knows who your celebrity cameo is. And you don't give them a good idea who this person is by having her go into the main character lawyer's office and twerking and then slapping the freaking She-Hulk's butt while she's twerking, and then having She-Hulk go, "I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion." Like some psycho. And the thing is, too, from what I've heard, episode 2, this was episode 3. Episode 2, the entire thing she complained about, you know what that was?
What?
She was worried she wasn't going to be taken seriously as a lawyer in her office because she's a woman. And then this broad gets Megan Thee Stallion as a client and proceeds to twerk to her music and get her butt slapped. And not just like in a private room. This is a corner office with glass walls where people can look in. It's like, oh, you're worried about being taken seriously, are you? Oh my gosh, this week has been not a good week for people who genuinely care about these properties. I know, like, Rings of Power, it started. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings guy. Haven't seen any of the movies. Haven't read the books. And I'm literally only bringing this up because yesterday I copped that book.
Oh. Yeah, that book, because it's one book.
It is one book, baby. Look at this crap. That is 1,000 pages plus. All of the Lord of the Rings books are in this one giant thing. And I wanted to show this off because I'm so happy I have it. I'm going to read through it. Once I finish this book, Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, I'm enjoying it. I obviously have some issues with what Jordan B. Peterson's saying now that he's at the Daily Wire. I feel like I don't like a lot of people at the Daily Wire. Nothing personal, but like, I don't follow a lot of them, and the ones that I get sent to, like, see tweets and stuff of, I'm just like, I don't know. Especially since Ben Shapiro is just like, I'm not a huge fan of him. And I know that was one of the big stories. I didn't mean to segue into this. We're detracting from women moments, but might as well pull that up. It was, oh, now I got it.
There you go.
Yeah. So Ben Shapiro decided to throw Trump under the bus by saying, GOP cruising for a bruising by sticking with Trump. I have the tweets pulled up somewhere else on the computer, but he's basically talking about like, the GOP doesn't need to be constantly going, oh, we need Trump, blah, blah, blah. We're sticking to the narrative. The left wants Trump. No, they don't. There's a reason why they continually harped on him when he wasn't prominent, because they're scared of him. They're not like, oh yes, this is our cash cow. They were scared of him because he won, and then he made certain changes that were really good. They scare him. That's why they continue to harp back on him, because he's a divisive figure, and they want to try to derail him. Ben. You're not as smart as you think. I'm a retarded white guy sitting in his brother's old bedroom, eating a gordita from Taco Bell. And even I can understand Trump is our ticket to win. I wasn't that, like I said on episode 2, I don't particularly care either way. But after the Mar-a-Lago raid, and after he's kind of been ramped up and he's amping up, and now he's going full 2016, dude, I'm Trump all the way. Holy crap. Like, and Ron DeSantis kind of falling off too.
Do we have that story where Trump said he wants to execute drug dealers that he's talked about at his rally?
Not loaded onto the computer. I have the clip somewhere on the computer, but not loaded onto the OBS program. But yeah, that was epic. That was pretty epic. So
he basically talked about how crime has been going wild since Biden took office, and most of the crime is caused by drug dealers who need to be arrested and executed.
I agree with that. I'm gonna pose with my gordita. Thumbnail. It's also 10 o'clock, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
we're recording this way later than we usually did.
We've got an hour and 11 minutes on here.
Okay. So we gotta finish up Woman Moments. By the time we get through that, we'll be done with the show. We want to shoot for an hour and a half. Let's go with Woman Moments 2. This has no sound, so I'll do sports announcer. So we have this woman here. She's standing in a water hazard, trying to get a ball out of the water hazard. She's lining up the shot. She's going for it, and it curves and goes right back into the same water hazard lake as before. As she walks out, she has this face of realization. She walks out like, oh, finally, and then looks and goes, oh.
I got my feet wet for nothing.
I got my feet wet. I had to take off my shoes and everything, and it's back in that damn pond.
And now I gotta do it again.
Let's continue with this theme of women in sports with Woman Moment number 4. Oh. My bad.
This is number 3.
Yeah, this is number 3. Well,
that's a funny little clip.
That is so hilarious. That's such a dude thing to do.
Yes.
So with this, for those listening, this girl, she wanted to do something romantic with a boyfriend. Can't blame her. You wanna just do something really sweet together. So they tried to recreate the thing from I believe Dirty Dancing, where the girl runs at Kevin Bacon. I think it was Kevin Bacon. That might have been Footloose.
No, Footloose is somebody else.
Okay, whatever. She runs at who I'm gonna say is Kevin Bacon, and he hoists her up, holding her at the waist and like lifting her up, and she's like spread eagling. She's doing like full starfish spread while he's holding her up, and it's I have had the time of my life. That whole thing. So she tries to do it, and he picks her up and immediately turns and throws her into the pool.
No, he didn't even turn. She jumps, and he just goes over his head behind him into the pool.
Smoothly throws her into the pool. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, now let's go to Woman Moment 4. So what we're seeing is a bunch of women playing soccer. Oh, she shoots, she catches it, and then it just goes right between her legs. Oh my god. She just kicked a hit off the bar and hit her in the face. Let's see, we got this girl full on. Oh. That girl just completely missed the ball. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. If you're listening, I can't describe every single one of these. You just have to go back and watch. The last one.
Yeah, trick shot.
Trick shot.
Off the face into the goal.
Last one, the keeper tries to get the ball, dives on the ground, it goes past her, and she sits back up as her teammate runs up to try to clear the ball from the goal, smacks the keeper in the face, and it bounces back and goes into the goal.
And she just stands there like, well.
And Megan Rapinoe wonders why not enough people watch women's soccer. And I say that with two sisters who are currently on college soccer teams. I will stress that I have much respect for the women's soccer profession. I don't want my sisters listen to this, by the way, so I want to stress. I respect your profession. They're very good soccer players.
I don't know. It's too late.
Yeah, no. I don't respect your profession, but I acknowledge you as fantastic players who would never make those kinds of mistakes. Oh my gosh. If someone says why don't more people watch women's sports, just show them that video. All right, next we got a bit of a couple women moments. Woman moment number 5. This is a Chad going to a freaking vegan protest, just chilling and eating a beef kebab. What do you think I'm gonna do? Nothing. The fact that scrawny man is so confidently filming that, like, oh yeah, she's getting him so good. The simplest forms of protesting and trolling are oftentimes the best. Just walking up and just
eating a kebab
while they're just yelling, and just yeah, oh, this is so good.
She's like, does it feel good? And he's like, yep.
The next time something like this happens, the man needs to take it up a level. Bring out a foldable table, put a tablecloth on it, put out a plate, put some steak on it, sit down at a chair, tie a little napkin around his neck, pull out a couple utensils, and just proceed to start eating the steak. That's taking it to the next level. Make it just all dramatic and just whoom, and then sitting down and just
or have a server. You walk up, the dude sits at the table where you sit down, and the server like puts your bib on you
and brings out the steak. Your steak, sir.
Fajitas, they're just crackling on the pan.
Bring out a glass of whole milk and just quietly enjoy your meal. Bring out a speaker playing some classical music. That would be. I want to see that happen. Or I need to figure out when these types of protests are happening.
They don't in Arkansas.
They don't in Arkansas because we all eating meat, bro. All right, this one's gonna be real quick. So, woman moment number 6. A woman decides to shake up a bottle of wine and it just pops without her and it hits her right in the face. Classic. And then finally we got woman moment number 7. Classic prank. She's holding 2 bottles of water by strings, and then he's putting a pie in her face as she's holding a
and he cuts the string.
He cuts the strings and she just slams the pie in her face. Oh man. Classic man-woman interaction right there. And then I think I told you I had a couple of clips that I've decided to retroactively make woman moments. Clip number 2, I believe.
Okay. I also have 8 and 9. Are those still
videos
on woman moments?
Oh yeah, no. I didn't fill those out. Yeah, no.
Gotcha. Here you go.
If dogs could talk, what would they say?
White Caucasian people should accept their extinction, and your over-reliance on mutual fertilization and your use of birth control pills is really astounding in the world.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. If a dog said that to me, you know, my golden retriever just walks up to me and goes, "Why? What's the clip?
Here,
the quote."
If dogs could talk, what would they say?
White Caucasian people should accept their extinction, and your over-reliance on mutual fertilization and your use of birth control pills is really astounding in the world.
Man, that's a run-on sentence. You failed grammar.
She also said white Caucasian.
White Caucasian. Bro, Scooby says that to Shaggy. Like, Scoob, what are you thinking right now? Reggie, right gravitation people would accept their extinction and your over-reliance of in vitro fertilization. Rand, your use of birth control pills is really astounding in the world.
No, that's when you take your dog out behind the shed and send
Come
him,
on, Yeller.
send him to the farm.
I'm so sorry. I have an anti-white dog. I'm sorry.
It's either me or you.
Yeah. The way to ruin just like a fun thing this dude's trying to do for TikTok. I think TikTok's a toxic place, but this man's just trying to like do something cute and goofy. And this woman's response is just, white Caucasian people should accept, not even males, just people. White Caucasian people should accept their extinction, and your over-reliance of in vitro fertilization and your use of birth control pills is really astounding in the world. Ma'am, you ruined that entire segment. Just say, oh man, I'm gonna sniff my butt. Something goofy. Come on. She thinks she was making a point with broken English. And then finally, video 5 for our final woman.
That's the reason why I'm going to be in January. I want to go to Africa to learn more about the cultures, to avoid misunderstandings.
But you,
and to learn more about the cultures and the person self.
But you understand.
For context, this is a man. This is a woman, a white woman in blackface,
much
on a
more
London
than skin deep.
news show,
It's
explaining how she's about to go to
heritage
Africa
and
so she can get
tradition
connected with her
and history
transracial
and,
roots.
and struggle. It's all of those things that you can't hope to get anywhere near with 3 tanning injections.
No, but also the
She's doing
all
an
these
African
steps, also
accent too.
having black curly hairs and going to change also my nose to really African version, also more wider here,
You're
and
having further surgery.
and also have and also have butt implants. Like
That man's
I like the
face.
curves of black women, and I want to get them step by step.
If we had more people react like that to the trans movement, I feel like we'd be in a better place.
I don't know if we can scroll through the clip on here, but the one point where the guy's just like,
I think you can.
just tones out.
If you pull it up, go to it, and then just quickly pause it.
That's the
There should be a
reason why
little
I'm
like
going to be in
scrub
January.
slider.
I want to go
Like,
to
you
Africa
pause.
to learn more
and
about
click
the
on the
cultures,
clip.
to avoid
You're gonna have to
misunderstandings,
But you,
and to
but
learn
you,
more about the cultures and the person self.
right there.
but
And
you
then click on the
understand
clip.
that
Yeah, there we
Sorry,
go.
that we're still getting used to these things.
Let me see.
That needs to be a meme right there. Just the.
Really,
He's just like, just sitting there.
Somebody make that a reaction gif right there.
And and the girl dude is just sitting there like,
really more wider here,
Further
and
surgery.
also have
there it is. She's like, oh,
Utterly baffled.
you're having further surgery. He's like,
and also have
Oh.
yeah, and also
That needs to be used in as many memes possible pronto. Oh my gosh. I feel like that's just the ultimate white woman moment right there. Just going, you know what? I'm gonna become transracial, and then I'm gonna speak in a heavy African accent.
it didn't even sound African.
It sounded like she was trying to do
It
African.
sounded like she was a Middle Eastern British person. Like it was British, but
I'm
it was.
going to go to Africa and go. Come on, lady. Either nail the accent or just speak in your normal voice. There's black people in Britain. You do realize that? What? Like, if I said I wanted to be an Indian man, a man of Indian descent, I'm not going to immediately start going, oh, no, this is how I talk now. I'm going to go to India and connect with my Indian roots. No, you're not going to say that. You're going to speak like you normally would as an Indian man living in America with an American accent.
Well, we also say that as if people who are transracial are right in the head.
Very true. Yeah, they just make. Well, it's the same thing with the trans people, the transgender. I mean, or transgender, transsexual. I think is That's in a murky gray area, I believe, because like guys like Chris Angel, I think are transsexual, but like acknowledge.
Chris Angel.
Isn't that no Buck Angel? Buck Angel.
Chris Angel's the magician.
My bad, Chris Angel. And I'm gonna make my penis disappear. I completely lost. Okay, yeah. It's kind of the same thing though with the transgender thing, where when they decide they're gonna transition, they become the most stereotypical version of that gender they possibly can. Lip injections, want to look as much like a Barbie. The dudes who do drag queen, it's never just I'm going to be a normal girl who wears a sweatshirt on the weekends and just hangs out. It's gonna get the fat lips and the sunken shallow cheekbones and the over extravagant poofy hair. It's always that kind of stuff. So I feel like, just Zach dropped something, I feel like the transracial thing, of course that's the logical conclusion you're going to reach. Oh, I must be black. I'm going to speak either in a heavy Ebonics voice or try my best to do a heavy African accent because I watched Black Panther once. I'm Wakandan. Suck it up. Accept it. I feel like that we should wrap it up. I brought 2 clips over from last week that we didn't get to. One of them's very serious, and I feel like that's going to put a downer on our discussion. But video 20, I just really liked. It's I think the president of Ghana. So we're talking about Africans. This is an African man I love very much now.
What is your message to Western human rights groups, to President Obama,
Respect,
to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people?
Respect African societies and their values.
Why can't we say that in America?
If you don't agree, you just keep quiet. Let's manage our society the way we see. If we are wrong, we shall find out by ourselves. Just the way we don't interfere with yours.
Do you personally dislike homosexuals?
Of course, they are disgusting. What sort of people are they? How can you go? I never knew what they were doing. That's how I've been told recently that what they do is terrible, disgusting. But I was ready to ignore that if there was proof that that's how he's born, abnormal. But now the proof is not there.
Based African man right there. I love the. So, what do you think about homosexuals? Oh, they are disgusting. So you dislike homosexuals? Yes, they are disgusting.
And he even waited for more evidence.
Yeah, he literally just straight up said, if there is evidence that they are born this way, then sure. But right now, that is not the case.
The John Doyle clip. Find the gay gene. You can't do it. It doesn't exist.
You can't do it. So we're going to leave off on that. We're rapidly approaching hour and a half. Maybe we'll get to the other clip because I think it's very important, the detransitioner clip. Or maybe we'll forget it again next week. Who knows? Who knows what the next week entails, what it holds for us. I'm very tired. I have work tomorrow. I'm sure Zach does.
Nope.
Oh, he has work off. Well, I go in at 3, so I'll be able to sleep.
Well, I'm about to hit the gym anyway.
Okay, he's about to hit the gym. He's getting bulky. He's working out. We need to record more night shows. I feel like we get more entertaining. I forget if there's actual science behind this, but I feel like when you're tired, you act as though you're drunk.
Yeah, that is scientific.
You
Sometimes it's even worse.
Well, yeah.
Well, depending on how tired you are.
Depending on how I'm not.
It's only
quite
like
there
10.
yet.
It's not even 10:30. So around that.
Yeah, I typically try to be in bed by 11:30, get my full 8 hours of sleep. But well, I'm rapidly approaching drunk tired, which personally I have fun with. It's probably also just as unhealthy as getting drunk.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, yeah, you're not putting any substances
frying your liver.
But lack of sleep heavily affects your brain and heavily affects, I think, your endocrine system.
Yep.
But of course, I'm not a biologist, so I can't tell you jack crap. All right, we'll wrap it up now. thank you for tuning into this episode. Please, if you enjoyed it, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Share it with your friends. Hit the like button. Leave us a comment. What do you think about what we think? What are you doing for Hispanic Heritage Month? And yeah, this is the most retarded show on the internet. I don't know what else you expected tuning into this. Come on. We strive to be entertaining and informative. We are peak infotainment, heavily on the tainment. I'm your host, Garrett Inman. Today with me has been my producer, Zach, because unfortunately my co-host, Davey, has been sick. So...
There he is.
Yeah, there he is. Say hi, Davey. So pray for him. It's like a fever, so it's not like that bad. But we hope you enjoyed. We are found on YouTube, Odyssey, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, and we are now, as of the time of this video uploading, we're now on Rumble. I just created a Rumble account a couple days ago, and I've spent the past 48 hours uploading every episode we've had to there, and all of them will be released the exact date this episode's released. So if you have Rumble, check us out on Rumble and start sharing there. We want as many eyes to see us as possible because we need subs. To be frank and straight up with you, but no, we want to engage with people. We want people to be entertained in these unprecedented times. So if you like what we have to say and you just enjoy us as people, please subscribe to us. Gain us a little bit more prominence so we can afford to get another chair in here that I can sit in, or another chair that we can have a guest sit in, because we're running on very low tech here, folks. But regardless, we love you all. Stay retarded, all of you. I'm going to take a sip from my Splash Fizz, which is a very good drink. It's got magnesium and zinc in it. I usually drink sparkling ice, which is full of vitamins. I don't know why I'm saying this. They're not sponsoring this, but I will have an announcement next week. The show's not sponsored yet, but I have become. I'm in the process of becoming an ambassador for a certain brand, and I'll start pimping it next week. So, take care, everyone. Cheers. Love you all. Good night.